Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has issued a stark warning against Ukraine's fast-tracked accession into the European Union, labeling it a gamble that could cost Hungary its economic stability and European financial support.
Someone claims that they will bring home EU money and support Ukraine in its EU membership. They are obviously lying. Because if there is EU membership for Ukraine, there will be no money to bring home. Either one or the other. You can't have both.
Speaking in Pilizvorosva, Orban accused Brussels of issuing a directive to integrate Ukraine by 2030, despite lingering questions about the country's territorial boundaries, population, and ongoing conflict.
We don't know how big Ukraine was, how big Ukraine is, and how many people live there, because financial aid and many other issues are settled on a pro-rata basis in the EU. And how many people live in Ukraine now? And what about the refugees? Are they going home or are you not here? This is the debate that I think you've been watching this morning, that the next round of London has been cancelled. The question is, which territories now belong to Ukraine and which do not? And what's more, not only do we not know how big Ukraine is, how many people live there, but we don't even know whether or not it will be at war in the next 4 or 5 years. So, regardless of what we think about the Ukrainians, the rapid integration of this country into the European Union is a risk that I think we should not take.
Orban warned of domestic repercussions under a pro-EU government that endorses Ukraine's entry, including new taxes, removal of pension benefits, and a shift to market-rate energy prices.
These 4 things are therefore the economic consequences of Ukraine's accession to migrant Hungary. The multi-and-bank tax abolishing the 13th month of pensions will be blown away by the wind, and market prices will be paid for household energy. These 4 will be the immediate consequences once a Brussels-backed government or political force forms government in Hungary. I recommend these 4 dangers to everyone.
Diverging from Brussels' narrative of merit-based membership, Orban accused Western leaders of dragging Europe into an unwinnable conflict with Russia and ignoring diplomatic solutions.
But one thing is for sure, it will never be in Europe's interest to be involved in a war with Russia alongside Ukraine. I can't imagine that. To take part in a war against Russia alongside Ukraine is to become an instrument and a subject of destruction, and destruction ourselves. Because when a war breaks out, like the one that has just broken out, the Russians have started it. The only sensible European attitude, which is morally, politically, and economically acceptable, is to isolate the conflict as little as possible and not allow it to spread, so that we do not jump in with the Ukrainians, as every other country in the European Union, apart from ourselves and the Vatican, has done, by standing by Ukraine and seeing itself as a party to the war.
Orban called out EU leadership for punishing those who spoke of ceasefires and negotiations, asserting that diplomacy should never have been sidelined. Hungary remains one of the EU's most outspoken critics of Ukraine's candidacy, pushing back against what it sees as an ill-timed and reckless integration campaign